When I was younger, I had to walk 15 miles to get to my local F&M. I played Modern. Back in those days, I was a Jund player. Back then, Modern was an interactive format. Jund was an interactive deck. That deck played Tarmogoyf, which was the best creature at the time. Over $100 a piece. Oh, those were the days. It could kill you in as little as 5 turns. Modern was a different thing back then. But those days are gone. What is that? Something about a Croxa? Will Eagle won the Modern Challenge? Is Jund back? Is Jund back? Oh my god, maybe Jund is back. Oh, where's my foils? Where's my foil Jund deck? Where are they? Where's my foil future sight Tarmogoyfs? The Christopher Rush Judge promo Lightning Bolt. Oh my god, where are they? I can't live without my Expedition Fetchlands. Is Jund back? Because the community has been rocked by the new Jund deck that's come out, or I don't know, I would just say minorly upgraded Jund deck. Croxa Jund. Willie Edel won first place in the Modern Challenge, and now the whole Jund community, which has been just, I don't know, hibernating maybe for years, have all come out rushing at once because it's Jund all over the place in Modern, as if it's like back in the glory days of Deathrite Shaman or something. So I just want to give my brief opinion about it. Where like I'm no Jund master, but I mean I can look at the 75 and have a pretty damn good idea how much more the deck has improved over the past. And certainly, first off, I actually think Jund is a totally playable deck. Anyone could, pick up Jund and make it competitive in today's Modern metagame. But I do believe that a deck like Jund has very similar properties to something like Modern Merfolk, where the deck, a deck like Jund is not particularly powerful. Like, it's not to the power, the scale of the rest of Modern. It's not doing things like what Amulet Titan is doing, or what Eldrazi Tron is doing, or what Counters Company is doing, where like in a heartbeat you've basically lost. Or there is a point in the game where if it's gone too far, I mean, you're never coming back. Jund is like good cards and good value cards, but they don't scale to exponentially. It's just incremental value stuff. But also, I mean, it's not super large value. I mean, today, Kolaghan's Command, just being a 2-for-1, that's not exactly game-winning in Modern anymore. It almost doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost embarrassing how Jund, a long time ago, could just 1-for-1 you, pretty effectively. But today, just trading resources really isn't getting you anywhere. Hence why, the Death Shadow lists are probably the most modern version of Jund. Very similar idea, but trying to kill you really quickly so that other decks that have that inevitability, that point where they're just going to completely take over the game, you can win before that point happens. But I still think Jund still has what it can take in Modern, but you have to be very careful about your resources, and you need to be that pilot that can eke out every little bit of value from every single individual card, and also manage your resources properly against any particular deck that you're matched up against. I mean, it's real. Sometimes you would want to play mana efficiently and, blow your Maelstrom Pulse, but maybe it's better to hold on to the Maelstrom Pulse. Maybe you should kill that creature with Lightning Bolt because you know that there's some sort of artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker that's not going to die to that Lightning Bolt, and even though it's not mana efficient, you need to be careful about what resources target what. That's the difficulty. That's the life of the Jund player and the pains that I see. But Jund, for the most part, it's not really done a whole lot. It got a little excitement when Wrenn and 6 came around. And I mean, to no fault of the Jund players, Hogak took over, and then Amulet took over, and it's been maybe it's got some good upgrades in the form of Ashok, Wrenn and 6, and whatever, but unfortunately the metagame still hasn't been
in a sweet spot for like Jund to be like super tier 1 like it used to be in the past, like far deep in the past. We're talking Deathrite Shaman days. But nonetheless, Willie Edel, Jund Master, comes out of the woodwork and he says, do you know what? This Kroxa card, do you know what? I think I could build a deck with this, and do you know what? I think I could build it well. Maybe I can manage this thing to some really good finish. And do you know what? I saw the Kroxa Jund decks. I mean, all the Jund players started playing with Kroxa when Theros Beyond Death came out. And frankly, I think basically it blew. It sucked. It didn't really matter. I think the overall advantage... Okay, is it an upgrade? Absolutely. Do you know what? It could definitely be an upgrade. But for your average Jund player, I don't know if it compensated for a level of skill that would require it to look like a tier 1 strategy. But then we do have that competent player. We do have the master, Willie Edel. He goes all the way to the top and wins the Modern Challenge. And now the Jund players, they all come out at once, or everyone's really excited about Jund, even though the deck is basically the same. Like, not much has changed between now and like 6 months ago. I mean, or like even almost a year ago when Ren and 6 came out. The deck is identical. The only upgrade is Kroxa. That's 3 cards. Now, is it that much better than everything else, than like what it was doing before? In my opinion, no. I think it is an upgrade, but I don't know if it's like so much of an upgrade that, you know, Jund is now, you know, like back to the glory days. So like, what does Kroxa do? It's a black and a red for, you know, one of the Titans, Kroxa Titan of Death's something, Death's Glory, I'm not sure. And when it enters the battlefield, the target opponent has to discard a card. So pretty in line with Jund's strategy. And you can escape, and oh, by the way, if you discard a land card, then you're going to take 3 damage. So you got to discard something good. And you can escape it for black, black, red, red, and exile 5 cards from your graveyard, and you've got a 6/6 creature, and whenever it attacks or enters the battlefield, you get the same effect over and over again. And I think the body is good. I think the body is something that Jund could use. Even though it dies to Fatal Push, it survives a lot of other things like, for example, Dismember, which can be seen out of not only like mono red prowess and Merfolk, Eldrazi, Tron. So getting to a 6/6 creature, you know, primeval Titan size, I think is actually quite valuable, I think, to the Jund deck. They could use more power and being able to close out the game. Like, frankly, Tarmogoyf, it doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean, like, Tarmogoyf in the hands of Jund, it's like basically a 4/5 creature. It's basically a 4/5 creature. Sometimes a 5/6, pending what you can Thoughtseize or Inquisition away. Like, you can get an artifact or enchantment into the graveyard. But basically, the clock is not as impressive as something out of the Death Shadow deck, which always has Mishra's Bauble in the graveyard. So you're going to have a beefy Tarmogoyf close out those games really quickly. So I think the body is good. I think it's a nice upgrade. But I can tell you, so far from my experience playing against Jund, it's basically the same deck. Basically. It's not that big of a change. And I don't think it helps Kroxa that, you know, like Ashok is pretty popular still right now, and it can be played in any black or blue deck, so that doesn't help. It's like a bit of a, I would say it's a bit of a non-bow with Tarmogoyf, but not big enough that it's, I think it would be fine. You know, honestly, I think it's fine. Your opponent's graveyard is going to have enough cards in it to make the Tarmogoyf large when you like exile everything for your Kroxa. But I just don't see the big advantage. And we're hearing like reports on Twitter, not that many, this is very initial, but like it's underwhelming. There's a lot of people playing the deck, but like I don't know if it's super exciting. You could let me know in the comment section below what your opinion is of the new Jund deck. These 3 cards, does it completely change everything, or is it just a minor upgrade to the deck? And I totally believe that this deck, you know, it can win a tournament. Of course, it just won the Modern Challenge. I think in the right hands, piloting it the right way, maximizing on your resources and your interaction, absolutely it can win. It can be a tier. It can be top tier, just like how in my opinion, I make Merfolk top tier. But the real question is Jund back to the glory days where it like dominated? There was like a time where it was like 70% of the metagame a long time ago, back in like the Bloodbraid Elf, Deathrite Shaman days. It was outrageous. And those And that sets the stage for like so many Jund players trying to relive those glory days. They're just waiting for someone to show up with a good Jund deck. So there has been a big finish, and now it's like the only thing I can play online. A lot of people are just running into Jund left, right, and center. But is it really back to the glory days? In my opinion, it's a small upgrade. I don't think it's as big as people think. But I would love to know everyone else's experience and their opinion below. Is Jund back? We're going to have to wait and see. Anyway, this has been Nikachu, Merfolk Master. Welcome being back, Jund. When a spreading seas your raging ravine.